Welcome to the Mostly Pilot at Night, Mostly. I am Graveyard, joined by my co-host Salem. This is episode 149 of our weekly All Things Horror podcast. Well, we survived the cursed videotapes, but now we have to be careful about what house we visit. So put on your house shoes, take a big swig of potentially bad tasting sake, and check every closet as we dive into the Ju-On series with Ju-On the Curse 2, then Ju-On the Grudge, and the Grudge 2. Yes, there's like 7 more of these after this, but we're just kind of going for the American remake ones for next week. So that's why we're sticking with these 4.
I don't know if I could do more than 4 of these.
Yeah, that's fairly accurate for sure. Yeah, it's like I said, we'll obviously get into it, but man, these were shorter movies, but rough.
Well, the first 2 were shorter.
Yeah.
The second 2 are full length, but yeah. Yeah. Again, for how much this series is talked about,
mm-hmm.
It is surprisingly bad.
Yeah. And these recaps for these movies are probably gonna be relatively short, just because, let's face it, not a lot happens in these.
Correct.
The first one sets up, the events of everything else. But we'll
yeah. Once you know the story of like what the purpose behind the monster ghosts are,
mm-hmm.
there's really very little plot information to add for all the sequels.
Yeah. So, and they're kind of they're different vignettes. Like each section has like you're following a particular person through each vignette, and that's the structure really for all of them, which is consistent at least, right? For them,
in theory.
In theory. All right, and you can tell these were so good that the first Curse and Curse 2 came out the same year as each other in 2000.
Well, yeah. Not surprising when we get there.
Yeah, it's all right. So I'll start off with Ju-On the Curse from 2000, early 2000. But essentially, I'm going to give the main plot point of the ghosts that exist. Right. We have Kyoko, who is the female ghost that has the throat rattle, which is just inhaling weirdly or exhaling, right?
It's the sound a child makes when they're trying to be scary.
Correct. And then you have her son, Toshio, who's a kitty.
Right.
Pretty much, right? So like I said, these timelines of these vignettes are just all over the fucking place. And every one of them. But essentially, we are introduced to a man and his wife who is very pregnant, and she's like, hey, I have to go check on this kid that hasn't been showing up because he's, I don't know, a teacher? Something?
Yeah, no, he's a teacher.
And
he says it multiple times.
Yeah. But has to go check on this kid, and he gets to, we're gonna call it the house because it's the house in all of them. He sees this kid that's just kind of living in filth, and knees are just bandaged up to all hell, and trying to figure out what the hell's going on there with his mom, like what the hell's going on there. And like I said, I'm trying to keep this in chronological order here as best as I can. And he realizes that there's something wrong. He has strange visions of like a murdered cat in the bedroom and all that jazz. But essentially, he finds out that the mother was someone that he knew in college. It was like strangely in love with him, like following him around. Well, they met up earlier. And she's like started writing a journal about her love, but she's married, and her husband finds out and then proceeds to murder his wife and his kid. That's the curse. That's the grudge. That is the act that starts this entire series. Right. And so he kind of finds this out. Like I said, I'm just kind of sticking with his story, and realizes that this stuff is going on there, and the father calls him and is like, yeah, you take care of Toshio. I took care of your unborn kid. It's now born. It's dead. It's squishy, squishy, squishy in the phone booth. And then
Right. Yeah, okay, this is like it's annoying because they don't really tell you what's going on.
Correct.
Because this guy is a teacher who has no idea who that child is.
Yep.
Right? He
Mhm.
finds a body in the attic, but then somehow later on the husband knows who he is.
Yeah.
Why?
No idea.
And how? There's no explanation of what's going on. Like, again, like, I guess you could kind of sort of be like, oh, maybe he was like having an affair with the wife, but then how would he not know who that kid is? How would he not know what house that was?
Right.
It doesn't, like I said, none of it makes any sense. So how would the husband have any idea? Why would he go out of his way to go murder his wife?
Right.
And call him and tease him about it. You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
Correct.
Sorry, I don't know. This is just the first one.
Yes. But yeah, essentially that's what happens, and he leaves the phone booth and he gets murdered by his crawling death rattle wife ghost.
Correct. Yeah. And then there's just basically the rest of the film is just multiple people go to the house for whatever other reason that they go to the house, and then they experience the ghosts, and then they either one die in the house or two go home and the ghosts follow them and kill them there.
Correct. So we have someone that moves into the house after this, apparently, and she goes to school. Like, her brother's like killed and disappears from the school. She goes to the school. There's the death rattle. The number 4 calls her repeatedly, because that's I had to look it up. The bunch of 4s together looks like the Japanese word for like death. And she goes back home and her jaw's ripped off.
Right.
That's kind of what happens with there. And then, we have detectives that start to investigate what the hell's going on there. And yeah, they get attacked and bring the curse back to the police station. One's attacked, and that's kind of it.
Right. Yeah. There's literally no resolution. There's literally no even investigation.
No.
There's no like, oh, we find out what the curse even is. Nope.
Oh, sorry. There's one more vignette, and that's the real estate guy's psychic sister, because she comes into play in the next part too.
Well, yeah, comes into play as an interesting way to say that.
But he's like, I'm trying to sell it, and she's like, hey, I see ghosts. This place is bad. If they drink this sake and it tastes bad because it's been tainted by spirits, don't sell them the house.
And he's like, oh, okay, and then proceeds to just sell the house.
And then she walks by, and it's like, oh, this woman maybe is possessed or cursed. Fiend. That's it. That is 77 minutes right there. Oh, man. Okay. So you had never seen this before, correct?
No, I haven't seen any of these.
Okay. I mean, now you're probably glad you didn't watch them back then.
Well, it just pisses me off because I watched the American Grudge. And it didn't really do anything for me, and I never went. I know there's a lot more of them, but I did watch the first one. And like everybody at the time was saying, like, oh yeah, it's a remake of this, Japanese one. And the Japanese one is so much better, and it's like it's blah blah blah. The franchise is so great, and the American remake is just a poor comparison. Blah blah. Like, what a bunch of shit. like these people had their head so far up their ass. Like, I wish I would have watched it then, so I could have like made fun of them. Like, yeah, the American one wasn't great, but at least it had a fucking plot.
Yes. It had an end too.
Right, yeah, like somebody like, oh yeah, we'll find out what's going on. Maybe we can like either save ourselves or like clean the house or something,
Yep.
Nothing like that happens in any way. Spoiler alert for any of these films.
Correct. And I had watched the Grudges. I don't think I ever watched the Curses, because I don't think that's ever available. Like, when the Grudge came here in America, that's when people started carrying the Japanese Grudge, and that's, I kind of did the same thing back then, right? I did with The Ring. And yeah, this is I will call this This is a proof of concept movie. It's minimal, it's boring, and to get actually like a big budget. This is straight to home video, and you can tell
I'm pretty sure this is just like infomercial level.
it is.
Like this is like a movie that somebody made and nobody would pick it up, so they literally like bought time next to like the ShamWow
Yeah.
and the Jupiter Jack and like put this fucking movie between them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it felt like. But.
Oh yeah, yeah. I said that I watched this and it's amazing. You know, like I said, I had watched The Grudge, but then realizing that 2 movies prior to The Grudge, this one, Ju-on, The Curse, and The Curse 2, that yeah, you kind of need to watch it, but you don't need to watch it because it doesn't matter.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you think you're gonna get background info that'll help you? Nope.
No.
All of them are the same thing. It's just as confusing and just as like nonsense.
Right. And I'll spoil the American one right now. There's a reason why that she has a death rattle is because she was choked to death. And the reason why the boy sounds like a kitty because him and the cat were killed at the same time and the cat so bonded with his. Not explaining the Japanese one in the slightest.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
It is. It is. Do you want to do your highlights first? Or do you want me to go first?
Hey, sure. Okay, so like she was listening to like a CD Walkman,
Yeah.
and it was like skipping. That gave me a lot of nostalgia for like I always had like a really crappy CD player that would constantly skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nostalgia for me, annoying, but that was good enough. The random pregnancy murder was so weird, and like the dude like called her like, "Oh, it's a girl. I killed your baby." I'm like, what? Why the fuck? One, how did he know he was gonna be there? And two, why would he murder a baby? Like, what the fuck? Like the movie just took like a weird fucking like dark turn. Like it was a very light and kind of like PG level horror. And then all of a sudden at that point it like took a hard R turn. I was like, what the fuck was that? And he's like literally kicking the dead baby down the street.
Yep.
Like it got weirdly dark, which I was like, okay, I guess. Magic sake. I never heard of sake being magical before. Like I thought that this was going to go somewhere, like this was going to be a way to test where the ghosts are or something. No, Nope, it's never even revisited. Well, kind of, sort of. We'll get there in the next one.
Yeah.
But really, that's it. I mean,
yeah. Well, because I watch shows like Supernatural, is that the idea is you can trap spirits in sake. It's purification, I guess. And maybe if that was kind of like our knowledge of culture, it'd make more sense to us as Americans. That's all I got. That's why it's magic.
I don't know. Yeah, she said specifically it had to be like refined sake.
Yep, pure Japanese refined sake. Yeah, but all right. Yeah, I mean, I'll go with my highlights. Yeah, I'm like killed the baby and was like smashing it in the phone booth as well and kicking like that's insane.
Right. And like again, it's like literally sitting at PG horror like the whole time. Like nothing bad is really happening. It's all jump scares and like it turns away before anything really bad happens.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like this bizarre, ultra dark fucking scene. I'm like, whoa.
Yep. I performed a C-section on your wife and then killed the baby. Yeah.
Right.
That's so like I said, this is a proof of concept video. As far as I'm concerned, in being in the indie horror world, I do see proof of concept stuff, and this is what this felt like. This is like, let's call it the original Saw short film that existed, or the original Art the Clown short films that existed, to maybe grow to bigger things. Now, obviously, it does in Japan, but it's rough here. But it's still a proof of concept. And it's just, yes, I the first time of watching this, I kind of liked the idea of different perspectives and points of view and different stories. But so that's a highlight at that point in time, but it went away to the negative side as the series progressed. And you talk about the Walkman. Yeah, that jarringness of that skipping, like, oh god, I remember that. It was awful. It was like the loudest screech in your ear when that happened. with the
I used to have a CD player. It was like, kind of like a little stack with like two detachable speakers.
Mm-hmm.
It hated me, and it would skip CDs, but it would skip entire minutes.
Yeah.
So I would play it, and it would skip back 1 minute, and so sometimes it would take a minute where you're like, did I just hear it this minute? Like, because it wouldn't be like jarring. It would just like casually do it. It hated me. I hated that thing. It was like a hate relationship.
Yeah. That's all I have. I'll roll into my low points. Hold on. I'm trying to read my own damn handwriting. The music she listened to wasn't very good at all.
I'm pretty sure they couldn't license anything good.
No, it's like, hey, local dive bar band, can you put a song in here? Sure, and we'll screech it. I wrote this on, like, the teacher going to investigate the house, and like the kids are like, not just a straight knee, but bloody knee, bandages everywhere. I'm like, child protective services should be immediately called. But he didn't seem to do anything other than call his wife. Okay. And they had one cat sound effect, and my God, they used it a lot. Way too much.
Yeah, it was literally like one of those like soundboards.
Yeah.
With a button. Yeah.
Yeah, it got grating as the movie progressed. I hated it more and more. And the death rattle, which is just not good sound effects either. I can go on, but that's what I have. How about you? What are your low points?
I was like, when I first turned this on, I was like, oh, this is not what I thought. Because, again, I was expecting it to be this big, huge franchise in Japan. Like, Ring, like, was like, not fantastic, but at least it was like, I can understand how a franchise was built from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This one is like, I turned it on and it was like full screen. It was like TV soap opera quality. I'm like, oh, I don't think this is as good as I think it is. And yeah, I know it for sure is not. But yeah, again, that the full screen soap opera quality, I was like, wow.
Yep.
In 2000, we're still in full screen.
It looked like 80s soap opera.
Oh yeah, that was bad. I mean, again, the acting was fucking terrible. The editing was atrocious. There was like just hard cuts, like in the middle of like words and conversations and sentences and songs, and just hard cut next scene. It was just like, wow, who the fuck did this? It was like, again, I think somebody made this in their fucking basement.
My first editing software.
Yeah, and like all the effects were fucking horrible, just shit effects. Like any kind that they tried to use, like shadow or whatever, it was terrible. You already mentioned that stupid fucking cat noise. It's this again and again and again. It's horrible. The sound just sucks in general. It's just terrible. And again, there's no plot.
No.
There's no plot in this film. It's just like you find out like at the end of the film when the cop is talking about it, what happened to the woman and the kid, and that's why they're ghosts in that house. But until then, it's just like person goes in a house for whatever reason, either dies in the house or then goes home and dies there. But like just the ghosts appear and then they just die. That's it. There's no plot. There's no investigation. There's no like finding out what's happening or finding someone to help you or exercising the house. Nope. Everybody just dies and then it's over. It just repeat ad infinitum. That's it. Done.
Yep. But you have to remember these people's names because you will be hit over the head with it over and over and over and over.
Just
and all of them.
Horrible.
Yep. Are those all your low points?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go into it.
Yeah. So we're doing, because I just thought it'd be funny for number of housewarmings out of 10, because my God, how many people have moved into the house? How many housewarmings are going to be there?
Well, yeah, they keep dying. Like people are murdered within like a month of moving in, and then they just like, so this guy keeps reselling the same house.
Yep.
Sure, it works out great for him, but like, come on, dude.
Yeah. So Salem, how many housewarmings out of 10 do you give Ju-on the Curse from 2000?
Oh, I mean, I really did not like this movie. I'm gonna go 1.75.
Yeah. You know, this is it's bad. I'm gonna say right now, I thought the Grudges were better than the Curses, hands down. But this is like a rough watch. It's so slow moving. It's so just nonsensical at this point in time. But I will give this 3 housewarmings out of 10 just because it somehow made a major franchise.
Yeah, again, I was like shocked. I was like, okay, maybe it's just the first one. No, nope. That's
No.
all of them. So,
Yep.
yeah, we'll roll into the next one here. So this is Ju-on the Curse 2. Comes out the same year, 2000. And the beginning of this film is, I shit you not, the movie is only an hour and 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
The first 30 full minutes, 30 full minutes are the 30 last minutes of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally the last 2 vignettes. We watched them, no changes, no nothing. It's just that same 30 minutes as in the beginning of this. Like, if it's a remake or something and you really like those sequences, okay, I get it. It's not a remake. It literally has a 2 in the title. And they just reused 30 full fucking minutes. I mean, we've watched a lot of films that pad their fucking runtime with like unneeded flashbacks. I think my favorite being The Hills Have Eyes 2 with the fucking dog flashback is still my favorite flashback of all time. But it's like, the movies are notorious for doing that kind of shit to pad their time. This is just literally the first 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So like, I watched these back to back. And so I watched the last 30 minutes and then I watched the first 30 minutes and it's the same 30 minutes. It's like, okay, well, you can just give me 30 minutes of my time back, please. So that's the first 30 minutes is literally the last 30 minutes of the first film. And nothing else really happens in this movie. It's more of the same thing. It's people go into the house. So there's a new couple that buys the house, that he didn't do the sake trick for. The sake trick is not really ever followed. Like, she kind of looks into it and goes, oh, I don't think he did the sake trick. And then she dies.
Yep.
And then that's it. There's no follow-up. There's no nothing. So it's like, you go to the house and, either the lady or the kid, like, you see them and then you die either in the house or they follow you back to your house and then kill you there.
Yes.
And that's it. Literally nothing else happens in this film. It ends the same way the first one did with no resolution. Like the cop, again, they're like, oh, we're trying to investigate this. And they give you the same story that they gave you in the first one. And that's it.
Yep.
So that's, really, what should I say anything else? There's really not much else worth talking about.
There's nothing we're talking about. Yeah, that's it.
Again, we do get more information about like the full story of what happened to them, but we got the gist of it in the first one, so it's not like we didn't understand that. But we did get a more in-depth telling of like that happened, and then more deaths happened at that house. But that's it. That's literally, nobody does anything about it.
No.
They just die. That's it. Done.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, if you look up anything about the Curse 2 online, it'll go, like most of the movies just recap. Okay. I said, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 did it. Basket Case 2 and 3 sure as fucking did it too.
Yeah, they did it, and they pad the running time, minutes of extra shit stuffed in there, to make it longer, whatever. But like, not the first 30 minutes of the film. They at least try to do like different angles or something. You know what I mean? Like something, add something to it. This, nope, didn't even try.
No, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. So, I'll go first with my highlights. It is a bad ending. With multiple.
But it's not a bad ending in the good way.
No, it's not.
It's not like, the bad guy wins or expectations are subverted. It's not like that. It's just a bad ending, like an unsatisfying ending.
It is, but the idea is though that it kind of like and like because of the kid that's like sees all the different versions of people that essentially turned into her, like all at the school. That maybe it's setting up this big grandiose thing. Spoiler: it doesn't, but it has the idea to do it. I appreciate the idea of trying to make it bigger. That's all I got, man. That's
Yeah, there's really not much to say because it's like there's not much to this.
No, it's So those are my highlights. What about yours?
As hard as I tried, I could only find one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the scene where the husband like wakes up and he's like complaining about his wife while she's like cooking him breakfast. And then she just like smacks him in the head with a pan and watches him die and then just goes back to cooking breakfast. After like the breakfast she made was like a beautiful, delicious looking breakfast, right?
But it wasn't Jamaican coffee and the yolk.
And the guy's bitching about dumb shit and she just smacks him so hard with the pan that he dies. He has convulsions and dies on the ground while she's just, making dinner and doing dishes and shit. Like whistling like nothing's happening. That was funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that is it. That is the only bright spot in this entire film. There's nothing else here worth watching. Again, I'll roll into my low points here. That fucking 30-minute recap is unforgivable. Yep. That is fucking ridiculous. If this is a reboot or like a remake and you really liked those and you wanted to add this, no, this is a 2 in the title. You fucked up.
Yep.
Again, there's a lot of vital information that they tried to save for the sequel. I mean, we had to fill in the blanks to find out what was happening in the first one here, but they don't really give you that real information until this one. Like, you don't really know who that guy was on the phone. You know what I mean? You had to, like, piece that together.
Right.
And this one, they straight up tell you that, oh, yeah, the guy, he killed the baby, blah, blah, blah. That's the husband. Like, this one gives you the full story, like, lays it out. But, like, the first one did not. It's just weird that they did that. There is a CGI scene of like a face in the ceiling, and it is like one of the worst effects I've ever seen. It is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the sound sucks in this. Like the same stupid fucking cat noise, the throat clicking. Like just the sound guy in general was just bad, or maybe he had bad equipment. I don't know, whatever it was. It was shit. But that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean it's as you said, the most glaring one is that 30 minutes, and like I said, it's just a rehashing of the first one, just new people in the same situation. And I will get that people will say, "Oh, well, that's Friday the 13th, right? It's the same thing over and over and over again." But there's still like character development. There's still other stories. It's not always the same camp. There's
similar things are happening, sure, but like. If every single Friday the 13th was like new campers went to the camp and then they just got killed one by one and that was the end of the film. Yeah, I would totally agree with you that is to bullshit and they should try something else. But no, they always find a new way to fight him. They always find a new way to kill him. And you know what I mean? Like there's different people with different relationships. And a lot of this shit is fucking surface crap, but whatever. At least they try to do different stuff. This one, most of these, they don't do anything different. It's the same fucking pattern repeated over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yep. That's like I said, that's about it. So I will go first with my housewarmings. This is just unnecessary to have been made. It's not like I said, as you said, if they had done different angles, if they had 30 minutes of extra footage from the first one and throw into this one, fine. I get it. But essentially you decide you only had 40 minutes to make a sequel. And you go, I don't want to do a short film. I'll make it feature length, air quotes here, by taking 30 minutes of the last movie. It's bullshit.
Correct.
Just make a 40-minute movie then. Who gives a shit?
Right.
This is straight up like 0.5 housewarmings out of 10 for me. This is stupid. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm in the same. I'll do 0.4 just because the first one was lesser than yours, so I'll make it lesser with this one.
Yeah. But luckily we'll get into the Grudge, Ju-on the Grudge, that came out in 2002, and it's actually released in theaters. Holy shit! Amazing. Immediately, the quality's higher.
Yeah, it's not full screen anymore.
Right. and it's like cinematic, still shitty, but cinematic. But the gist is that there is now several years, an undetermined amount of stuff. I think they said like maybe 5 years because like Toshio was supposed to be like 6. Like, oh, now that was 5 years ago. Now he's like 11.
Or he
So
would be 11, right?
it would be 11, right? But essentially what happens is that there's a new family that has moved in, and husband and wife taking care of mom, and she can't take care of herself, so they send the volunteer caretaker to there, and essentially she finds out that grandma is or mom is being like haunted and cursed by both of them. Cool. All while that's happening, the Rika is figuring out that this is happening, and well, she witnesses the mom die, so detectives come in there like, oh, maybe she did it, maybe she's not. She kind of goes like catatonic for a little bit, rightfully so. And all this, like all this is happening on there, and more detectives are going like, oh man, this is weird. They start pulling out the same journal, the same newspaper clippings. Here's everything that happened, and here's a recap of 10 minutes of the first curse that we have to do there. Anyway, while she's like being hospitalized, she's like guarded, and we have like a weird videotape glitch of like a black mass maybe grabbing the guy, sure, and killing the security guard. Anyway, the new detectives on the case trying to figure out what the hell happened, because the son and wife are also dead that lived in the house, because it's the house. And like, oh man, we need a detective that lived. The only person to have survived the curse and the curse too. We have to try to go find him. He's like, yeah, fuck this noise. I'm burning the house down.
Yeah, I mean, at least somebody had a fucking plan of some kind.
Yeah. So, anyway, as he's going to burn it down, he sees and hears some like schoolgirls, and he's like, oh, I can't burn it down. And one's like, hey, I gotta get out of this haunted house. All this happening. That's kind of ended his story. He doesn't burn the house down. He gets attacked. And then we follow the schoolgirls, like, oh, why aren't your pictures being developed? Blah, blah, blah. She chickened out. And there's a whole bunch of like missing posters everywhere of like the girls that she was in the house with, and find out they're all dead. And other friends like, we gotta get her picture. Like, oh my god, the 4 girls that went into the house, their eyes are blackened out. Holy shit. They've been dead this entire time. And essentially, another teacher goes back into her house to try to find the kid that she saw, because she didn't realize that Toshio was dead this entire time. Gets killed. She goes in the house. Rika's dead. And another sister or whoever, their parents are cursed. They're dead. Everyone's dead in the new house. It traveled outside the house and followed it to the curse. And now Rika's corpse kind of looks like coyotes. That's about it.
Yeah, again, it's like it's better production value. They try to make it a little bit more sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's the same thing. It's like it's just the same repeated thing. Somebody goes into the house for whatever reason. Either they die in the house, or the ghosts follow them and they die somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
No resolution. Nobody. Again, this at least we have a guy that just like, hey, we should burn this house down.
Yep.
He's the only guy that has any kind of plan in this film, and he doesn't even do it. He just dies.
Yep.
But that's it. No one else has any plan or any kind of resolution or any kind of like even attempt to like make this better. It just ends again.
Yep. Same house, different day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty. Like I said, production that was much better. Yeah. So, like I said, this is the one I definitely had seen and compared it to the American Grudge when that came out in 2004. I couldn't tell you what I remembered from that evaluation I did back then, but I think I realized at this point in time that the American one made more sense. We'll get to that as soon here. But I mean, those were my first thoughts on the rewatch. So what was your first thought?
Yeah, that's I already gave you.
Yeah,
it's
better.
Right. It's the same shit recycled. Yeah, it looks better, but it's the same trash.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you do your highlights first for the Grudge?
All right, yeah. So yeah, better production values.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously have a budget. That's, I mean, again, there's some variation here instead of just being the lady and the child. You know, at least we have some variation with like ghostly schoolgirls.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostly the other lady. At least there's some kind of like spice here.
Yep.
But ultimately not really. Right. I mean, it's like we get a little bit of difference, but like ultimately it's the same story. It's people go to the house, they catch the curse, either they die in the house or they go home and then die there.
Yep.
That's it. That's the pattern that they follow over and over again. This movie does not move from that. That's all I got.
Yeah. I completely agree. The better quality. Like I said, you'd think that you'd have to watch the Curse and Curse 2, but we're telling you right now, skip it. Just go to the Grudge if you're going to watch one of them. Just this one. Nothing else.
Yeah, please skip the Curse. You'll be thanking yourself later.
Yeah.
And if you're a completionist and you have to watch it, just literally skip the first 30 minutes of the Curse 2. There's nothing different. It's the same ending. So like you could literally watch both of those with that 30 minutes removed and it'll be about a full movie length.
Right.
So
yeah, because I immediately watched the Curse 2 after the Curse. I'm like, wait, did it keep me back at the end of the first movie? Look what the hell's going on.
Right. I'm looking, I'm like, are they gonna spice it up? Are they gonna do something different? No, it is literally the exact footage.
Yeah. But I would say like the shade, the hair effects of this Grudge is, I'm once again air quotes of the word iconic, but it's the iconic parts that most people seem to associate with this franchise. It's really from this movie. So I appreciate that. It's interesting, and that it keeps the same story structure, right? It didn't deviate with a bigger budget, so usually you see stuff like that. They try to do like this whole thing. No, they're still sticking to their damn roots. So kudos to that, at least sticking with it. Yeah, that's what I have on my low points. When you're, I had to put this on there because like you're walking through this sloppy house, right? I understand it's custom to take off your shoes and put other shoes on, but I wouldn't take off my shoes in that house at all. And I think it almost dismisses the end of the Curse 2. Like I said, the Curse 2 was kind of leading up to this whole, when you're killed by these ghosts, you become the main woman ghost with the death rattle, and there's multiple of them. It's going to spread. Doesn't happen. And I go, how many people have to die in this house? Like I said, the guy did the right things. Like, I'm going to burn this fucker down. Like, how many people have died in that house over how many years?
See, I didn't
100.
I didn't get that it was replicating. I just got that she had possessed that person.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Like I didn't see that there was more than one.
Yeah, but I mean, they try to do something different. But like I said, how many people need to die in that stupid house? Like all of them.
Right. Again, the police are like, "Hey, look at all these murders that happened in this house. That's weird.
Let's go investigate."
Let's continue to not do anything about it or tell anyone.
Yeah, like I said, by this point in time, there should have been some semblance of a story structure of how to avoid this curse, but there's nothing. So that's why it's in the low point. So, what are your low points?
I mean, really, it's the same as the other one. Yeah, they had a higher production value, but the acting still sucks. The effects still suck. The shadow effects that they were using suck. I mean, the TV glitchy effects they're using suck. Yep. I mean, everything it's just terrible. It's the same non-plot. I mean, there's really nothing that they do differently in this one. It's the same shit. Like they tried to have a character last like more than one vignette, and it didn't really work. Yep. So it's mostly just in the background of another one, and that was about it. It's the same stupid cat meow, the same stupid throat clicking shit. Nothing is really different. Yeah, they got a couple extra bucks. They made it like a normal movie runtime, but like ultimately, it's really the same thing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, nothing is new here. So to me, it's just more the same trash.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how many housewarmings out of 10 do you give the Ju-on the Grudge from 2002?
I mean, it's better than the other two, but I mean, not by much. So I'll say 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, it is better than, those. So let's say it's probably better than the other ones combined. So let's go 3.5 because it's better. Housewarmings out of 10. All right, take us through Ju-on the Grudge 2 from 2003.
Now, finally, after 3 films, we now have a plot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There is a plot that you can follow. There is like a protagonist that lasts through the whole film. It's like I was like shocked. I was like blown away. So essentially in the beginning we get this like the horror queen of Japan, right? Who's like, done countless horror movies. She doesn't seem like she enjoys herself, but that's what she does. So her and her husband are driving, and somehow the ghosts are in the car. The car crashes. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we will.
But it happens. So they're in the car. The kid like grabs the wheel and like they crash the car. The husband is not dead, but he's like in a coma. Mm-hmm. And the horror queen lady is more or less fine. She like gets a little hurt, but she's like able to go back to work like apparently like the next day.
Yeah.
So she is fine. But she was pregnant, and as a result of this crash, she lost the baby.
Suppose.
Well, they are told that like the doctors say that. Mm-hmm. The mom, like her mom that sees her later, like they were told by doctors that the baby was lost. We get that information. It's hard coded there. Very shortly after that, her own mother dies. She like sleeps under the kitchen table for some reason. I don't know. That was very bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, she ends up dying from the curse. And the curse is apparently following this lady around, but it's not killing her. It's just like affecting people around her. I'm just going to ruin the surprise later because it makes more sense if I tell you why. Is apparently the lady, the baby died, but the ghost lady, Kayako, put another baby back inside of her. Mm-hmm. And again, spoiler for the end here, so that she can be reborn as a live person again. Okay. Yeah. So, so again, everybody around her kind of dies. There's like, she, as a horror actress, goes in like a guest spot on like this, paranormal haunted house show, which of course goes to the same house that all of these other films are based in. Mm-hmm. So the host of that show dies. The makeup lady dies. The guy who's like, I guess her agent kind of or something, he dies.
The sound guy.
Yeah, the sound guy dies. Those guys die off screen, but everybody involved in the project dies from being there except for her. She's still okay because, again, she's being protected by the ghost. Now there's a Japanese schoolgirl that can see the kid like holding her belly. She dies. She, because again, the ghost sees her and follows her home and kills her. That's again, it's the same plot that's been happening, but at least we have like an overarching story.
Well, yeah, it took a while for someone to get to the house.
Right. Yeah. So they didn't go to the house until like there was the second vignette.
Right, but I'm saying it did start off at the house for the first time.
Yeah. So the husband finally like wakes up out of his coma, but isn't can't talk or anything. Mm-hmm. And then he gets like really mad when like the baby is trying to be born. Anyway, so long story short, so basically we get to the end of the film. Everybody around her dies. She goes into labor. Even the doctor says, "Oh yeah, your baby's fine," but obviously not. And so like later on, it's like magic ghost baby that like quickens and is born, and it's like that lady with the throat clicking and everything that climbs out of her vagina.
And she survives that.
Right, and she's fine. The lady is fine. But anyway,
the
like
doctors were around. Yeah.
right, everybody in the room, the doctors, everybody that was there, like a passerby that heard screaming and walked in just dies. Like everybody just dies. Like that witnesses this thing. And then that's pretty much it. We cut to the end, and then the end is like years later, where that lady is like a ghost of like a shell of her old self, like walking this child, which is obviously supposed to be like the physical embodiment of the ghost lady. And they're walking down a bridge, and then all of a sudden the ghost lady pushes her down the stairs. And it doesn't look like she dies, but she's like very seriously injured.
Yep.
Maybe soon to die, but she does open her eyes and look and whatever. And so then the little girl just like walks away on her own. She's like maybe like 5 or 6 or something.
Yep.
She just like walks away on her own, and then like people go to try to help the lady who fell down the stairs, and that's it.
Yep.
So we ultimately don't really get an ending, but at least we get a purpose and a plot to go around. Again, the same shit happens. They go in the house, the ghost either kills them there or follows them home and kills them. It's the same basic info that the first 3 movies are, but at least we have the overarching like pregnant lady giving birth to a ghost baby. So at least we have that. But I think is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's we'll get into the whole ghost baby purpose in the low points. I guarantee that one. So no, that's about it. Yep. That's this weird ass movie in a nutshell.
Right.
Yeah, that's my first thought. This is a weird ass movie. I didn't expect it to take this turn, but like holy crap. It's bizarre. There's like time loops, there's like fucking I don't know what with especially
I don't think there was time loops. I think it was just the different characters' vignettes were out of chronological order.
I'm saying the schoolgirl, she was seeing different time periods and living it through different ways.
That wasn't a time loop. She was dead. We were getting, again, that's actually on my high points, is we were getting her perspective as being killed by the ghost and then her living as a possessed ghost person. So she, as ghosts do, they relive their memories of their past because that's what they're attached to, right? That's the whole point of ghost. And then so like when we're getting the weird blurry vision shit, that's like her actually moving through the world as a ghost. Obviously she can't experience it the same way. And then when it's clear to her, she's remembering memories that have already happened.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what we're getting. So yeah, it's not time loop. We're getting the perspective of a ghost.
Okay. I guess I didn't catch that way, but that makes sense now. All right. Well, why don't you continue on your high points?
Right. Again, yeah, it had a plot. I was shocked. I was shocked. There's some kind of plot happening here. I was like, wow, finally! It only took 4 movies to get there. But yeah, the one character was in like every vignette. I was like, wow, it's different points of view, right? They focus on different people, but it was just like, wow, one person is finally here through the whole thing. Yeah, finally someone tries to like do something. Right? They try to like investigate. Ultimately, it doesn't go anywhere. It ends up about as effective as the rest of the films, but at least they try.
Yep.
And that's it. And again, like I already talked about, how they actually have like one of the vignettes is actually from the viewpoint of a person who gets possessed by the ghost, and like how their weird possessed life goes after they're quote unquote killed by the curse.
Yep. Which
I thought was pretty interesting. And that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with all that. Now, what I wrote down is because there's the schoolgirls from the last Grudge. Now, maybe her name's just a common name, but she kind of reminded me of the schoolgirl who had the same name from the first Grudge.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I'm pretty sure it was a different person. I think it's just the same name.
She's just a schoolgirl that friends went into the house potentially and all that stuff, but yeah, with the same name. And like,
Well, yeah, but the person before that Chiharu person was never in the house in the first Grudge.
Yeah,
because her friend went in the house. Her friend was the one that left when everybody else stayed. Her friend was Izumi. That was the one that put all the newspaper all over her windows and was haunted by the schoolgirls that did die. And one of her friends was Chiharu. And Chiharu, though both of her friends died in that movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it could possibly be her.
It would have just been interesting if it was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think it's just the same name. I'm pretty sure it was the same.
Like, as you said, there's actually a plot. There's, like, substance. And it's almost like the Omen-esque by the end of it. So I appreciate that for it. But other one you said, that's about all I got. I'll roll into my low points. I hated that ghost point of view in the opening scenes. I thought that was weird. I don't like how the ghost boy is able just to be in a passing car.
Yeah, I don't. Again, that's on my side too. I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, in all the other films, whenever like the ghosts can leave the house, but only because they're attached to a person that was once in the house.
And they weren't.
Right. They were driving, and where they were driving was nowhere near the house because she had never been to the house because she said that in the next vignette when she goes there. So yeah, I'm like, why the fuck? Why was it just in their car?
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, at the beginning, like, I understand you needed that to, like, push the film along, like, make the plot happen, but, like, you could have followed your own rules. Like, this is your fourth film. You made the rules for this. Like, why would you just not follow your own rule and just this one time? He follows the rules for the rest of the people.
Yep.
For the rest of the film, it just in the very beginning, how the fuck did they get in the car? There's no explanation for that.
Correct. I said I really wrote down, like, I felt like it ruined its own lore.
It did. It totally. No, I have that on this side. It's like, yeah, why are they attacking the car? How did they get in the car?
Right.
Like the Ju-on definition, like that they put in the beginning of every single one of these films, is like the curse is caused by someone dying horribly in a place.
Yep.
And then the person who then goes to that place and experiences the same thing dies and then continues the curse. So, like, Ju-on, the curse, which is that's what the meaning of that word is literally explained and defined in the beginning of the film, and then immediately goes to a scene where that doesn't follow that. It's so bizarre to me.
Yeah, and they were able to run over the ghost cat. Sure.
Right. I'm just like, that was the kind of excuse as to how the cat got out. Like, okay, I thought the cat was the kid.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, that I said that just ruined it. But like, so the rest of it was good. I said sleeping under the tea table. I don't understand this.
Yeah, she put a weird, like, umbrella over everything on the table and then slept under the table.
Well, it's like, you're keeping your good tea set dust free for guests, then you're sleeping under it.
Right.
And I'm just trying to figure. I'm like, is that like, oh, she comes in when she came in to check on her mom, like, oh, maybe it's like, a bed and, a tray for your bed, like you eat breakfast in bed. She's going to take it away. Nope. Okay, mom, sleep under the table. Okay. And I don't understand. Like, okay. So obviously Kyoto is cursed and now evil, but like, she is pure evil to get reincarnated as a ghost, still all this stuff, and is a 5-year-old kid, and then kills her mom to do what? What's her plan? I don't understand.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's again wide open of the, like, what the fuck is the purpose of this? Why does she need to be reborn? Isn't that, like, counter to the purpose of her curse? But
right, you think if she's reborn, she would just be a kid. It's not that she was evil when she was a human. It's the way that she got killed that made her that way. You think that be reborn into a human would be fine, that the curse would be done, broken. It makes zero sense. I don't know if the next one picks up after this, and then she doubts. I doubt it does.
I don't want
I
to watch it anymore.
no. I'm like this. So that ending is just like what I go. I'm like, what was the point? What was the purpose? No idea. What are your low points?
Yeah, again, we're doing the effects sucked, the acting sucked. I mean, it's the same stuff from the other ones. It's obviously the same guy who did this. There's these weird like prints where they're like it's supposed to be like I don't know like a water stain or blood stain or something on the floor, and it's supposed to like symbolize that the curse has moved to this area. And to me, it just looked like a big old ass print.
Oh, it
And I'm
was.
like, who's bloody ass print? Like, why are you putting bloody ass prints on the ground? Like, what is the purpose of this? But it was just weird. It's a odd shape for that. There's a scene where like the lady somehow like is living in a copy machine and she like pushes out all these copies of like herself, but like my god, did they waste a lot of toner.
Yeah.
I remember, getting bitched at for having like two, if you put out a picture that was too much black and they're like, you're wasting all the toner. Like it was like pure black pieces of paper. I'm like, man, whoever pays for that toner is gonna be pissed. But yeah, with the same throat clicking, the cat noises. And again, I have a long thing here about the fucking car and why it doesn't make sense that they were in the car and why is it in the beginning of this film right after that definition? It's so bizarre. But
it made sense. And she goes, hey, I just got off of filming day one.
Or the dude, the dude was like some casual thing of, I just went to this house or something. There's nothing. They're just like hanging out in a car. That's it.
Yep. All of a sudden, Catboy.
Right. Yeah. It's like, what? And he's like, I hit something. I was like, okay, I was watching you drive and I didn't hear or see anything. Like, how do you think you hit something?
Well, yeah, there's no noise. He's just like, I hit something.
Right.
Sure he did.
There's no noise. There's no like, there's no visual. There's nothing. Nothing happened. He just, I hit something. She's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I'm with you. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So I'll go first for housewarmings out of 10. It was good in its different ways than the first Grudge, but other than that, it's still not the greatest. So I'm going to give it the same score. I'm giving it 3.5. How about you?
I actually like this one. I mean, well, I'm probably suffering from watching the first three of these and then finally getting a fucking plot for this film in the fourth one. But I enjoyed this one a hell of a lot more than I liked the otthere three. There was like interesting stuff happening. The same character that we actually gave a shit about was like, things were happening around her. It was interesting enough, and I thought it was fun. So I'll give this one a 5.5.
So you're saying only watch this one of the franchise?
I'm just saying this is the only one that has a fucking plot. Like, if you really want to know what's going on, watch the first vignette of The Curse and then skip to this one because it's pretty much just the same shit repeated until this film.
Still, no hint of what they're going to do next. How to stop her.
Right. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no like information of how to fight or do anything to counter this. It's just more of the same. At least this one just had, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Whereas the rest of it was just little vignettes of telling the same story over and over again.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add before we wrap up this episode?
No.
All right. Well, we are out of subtitles for the foreseeable future.
Nice.
Yeah. But we're going to travel back to America to check on how the Grudge series did on the American remakes in comparison. So we're going to check out the Grudge 1, 2, and 3, and then Grudges.
I don't understand that. Like, they always do, like, whenever they reboot it, they just put an S on the end of a singular thing. Like, what does that mean? Like, Rings did the same thing. Ring 2, and then reboot it, it's Rings.
Yep.
Why? There was not more than one ring.
Yep.
Whatever.
So, but let's hope we never have to be asked how the sake tastes again. Oh man, this was rough for foreshadowed ones. But
these movies again. I wish I had watched these back then so I could tell these people to fucking should have, like, are you fucking serious with this shit? Like, you're saying that the American one wasn't great, but at least it had a plot. At least it had a synopsis you could write down.
Right. Well, like I said, they explain all these things we're questioning in these movies. Like I said, Ring did the same thing. So there's something to be said about that. They actually explained what the Ring was. I mean, we know what the Grudge is, but like I said, there's more to why these characters are the way they are. So I appreciate that. But like I said, I haven't watched the Grudges in a while. So I don't know. All right. Well, remember, we watch bad movies, so you don't have to. And this has been Graveyard saying, have you checked on the children?
This is Salem saying, long live the new flesh.
Good night.